What's going on, folks? I have finally returned from my long slumber. It's been a minute, y'all. It's been a minute since I've uploaded any videos here in general, but especially like my Kulgurath creature design series here. I've just had a lot of stuff going on in life lately. Little Peach had a spinal injury where her disc slipped out and it paralyzed her, so I had to rush her to emergency surgery. So I was dealing with that, and then over the last 6 weeks, been kind of getting her healed up and all that kind of junk so she can function again. It's been stressful and a lot of time and energy put into that because it's basically like having a newborn child because I've had to, she couldn't walk for weeks, so I'd have to carry her and take her outside and hold her while she's going to the bathroom and all the medicine and all hand feeding her and scheduling, taking off work, and then when I'm at work having to schedule like my mom and her friends to come check on her and look at her. It's been a whole shit show, all right. But finally my life's getting a little bit back to normal now, so I can start hopefully uploading some more YouTube videos here for y'all. But yeah, this first I'm going to show y'all like 4 different concepts here of creatures that I designed lately. This first one is called the Great Goliath Shark. Basically, my thought process for this one was like, listen, I haven't designed any sharks yet. I think sharks are cool, and I decided to do what I like to do with all my creatures to make them look badass and not like a regular animal, and give them armor plating, of course, right? And as y'all know, I love my armor plating, my tusks, my spikes, and of course, big woolly manes and beards. So I decided to throw on a beard to this shark, which, like, how could you do this? How could you? A beard on a shark? Does it make sense? Well, you know what? I came up with a little cop out here. So, like how catfish have little barbels, which are like whiskers, right? So I kind of use that as like my excuse to give a shark a beard. Like, just pretend they're a bunch of thick, millions of barbels dangling down from the old chinny chin chin that it uses to detect prey from very far away. But yeah, there wasn't like too much. Also, side note, just so y'all know, I'm freestyling this video. Normally for all my like design videos and stuff, I write like scripts and everything. So I'm like, I want to make sure I get all my points across and share everything that was on my mind when I was designing it. And listen, I hate doing that because it's just so time consuming and it makes me not enjoy making videos. So I'm freestyling this one, y'all. So if I say some stupid shit, forgive me, okay? But yeah, so this first concept, the Great Goliath Shark here, it's pretty straightforward. I just wanted to make a big, cool looking, beefy shark, that, I could find an excuse to give it a beard, and I did. So there you go. But yeah, so here's the first one. And with this one done, let's go ahead and move on to the next concept. All right, so for this next creature, the way its design came about was I was doom scrolling on Instagram like we all do, that we're all guilty of, that we need to stop doing that because it's terrible for your mental health. I saw these 2 thick, woolly sheep just frolicking around. I was like, okay, let me do something with that because, sheep, their wool looks like clouds. So I was like, all right, let me do some sort of sky-based creature where I can give it this appearance where like the wool is like sort of like, these cumulus clouds or whatever you want to call it, right? So I decided to take that and combine it with a Gallimimus. I'm combining it with dinosaurs because we all know dinosaurs are the best, right? So I combined those 2 aspects. At first I thought about maybe doing horns, like a ram on it. I was like, now let's just go with like the bird crest. So I did that. And then I kind of wanted its wool to like almost reflect like a sunset. I love like sunsets and sunrises, in the clouds. There's like, it's all the different colors like yellows and oranges and reds and purples and stuff. It looks awesome. So I use that as like the color palette for its wool. Also, I wanted to kind of make some species of animals that kind of like have some sort of relation or tie to the god dragons of Kulgurath. If y'all remember the previous vid in this series, I'll put the playlist down below if you haven't seen it, but there's god dragons, right? So I kind of wanted to make some species that were like the mortal embodiments, or they share some gifts that were given to them supposedly, per the legends from these god dragons. So this one, the Cloud Runner, It is blessed by the god dragon of air, Nemburos. Since these creatures don't have wings, the way they could kind of run across the sky, which, listen, this is fantasy. I'm not doing super scientific, everything has to make sense to our world. No, that's boring, that's lame. I'm not doing that shit. I want some fantasy to it. But I kind of like, I was like, okay, let's make up some sort of excuse how they can kind of run across the sky without it just being completely magic. So I was like, maybe their cotton like wool is actually like this insulation where they can cycle and absorb these gases through them that kind of help to make them lighter than air, so they can kind of float and like run across the clouds, basically, right? So yeah, that was kind of my process for this. It wasn't like some super complex design. Also, you can see here I did some sexual dimorphism, so you can have the males having a more flamboyant color palette here to attract the females there. But yeah, pretty straightforward, nothing crazy here. The Cloud Runner. All right, and now let's go on to the next creature. All right, so this beast here, just like the Cloud Runner, is also a species that kind of descends from one of the god dragons. This time the god dragon of fire, known as Kulgurath. Now, similarly to the Cloud Runner, I didn't want this one to be like some sort of carbon copy where it looks just like what the god dragon is. So instead of making this one like a flying dragon with wings or anything like that, I opted for more of a serpent or worm-like dragon. This one's called the Ember Worm, by the way. Clever name, I know. I'm just a genius when it comes to coming up with these things. What can I say? What can I say? But yeah, straightforward design, just a very serpent-like creature. Since it's fire, what I did with this one in particular was I wanted to make its scale patterns kind of almost look like magma, which you'll see once we get to the coloring part of this. And this one, it's kind of inspired by, so it's native to like the Frostfire Isles and Skaldheim, which Skaldheim, it's kind of loosely based off of like more like Nordic mythology and stuff. I love Vikings and all that, so I was like, I want to have some sort of land up there to the north that's heavily inspired by, Norse mythology and things. So you got to have some sort of dragon, right? So the Ember Worm here is a very powerful species. And I haven't talked too much about like cultures and kingdoms and races and stuff yet for this series. I'm working on that. I'll get a video soon. But the Ember Worm here is kind of like a symbol, a very powerful symbol to the peoples of Skaldheim. In particular, the king who rules over. So the Ember Worm kind of represents like power and all that kind of stuff to the people of Skaldheim. Sort of like, how the classic kingdoms in fantasy where you have like the humans, like a griffin's almost always the symbol of whatever the holy kingdom is and all that kind of stuff. So the Ember Worm here is kind of like the symbol that the people of Skaldheim use here to represent themselves, because they're Vikings and they're badass, and it's all about conquering and physical prowess, right? Kind of like me. But yeah, anyway, so Ember Worm here, pretty straightforward design. I didn't want to just make it this generic color palette though, so you'll see I threw a little bit of like blues and purples in like its tail and its mouth and everything, because since it's native to like these lands that are very cold and there's mountains and snow and all that kind of stuff, I just thought it'd be a cool kind of contrast to have this sort of like blazing hot worm here that kind of roams a colder region and stuff. So I think it was a cool contrast. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below about this one. I have a feeling that some people will like it because everybody loves a dragon, right? But yeah, here you go, the finished concept for the Ember Worm. And if y'all see their little size comparison, that little human silhouette down there, that's Ragnaroth, which is one of the few character designs I've done here on the channel in a previous video. You can go check that out too if you want. But yeah, there you go. Ember Worm, the Flaming Maw. And now we'll move on to the final creature of today's video. Alright, so this last creature is probably my favorite of the bunch. I know parents aren't supposed to pick their favorites, but when there's a clear one who's superior than the others, you gotta kind of just give the kid props, right? So for this one, the design was actually inspired by the guardian lions, aka Shisa, aka Fu dogs or Fu lions from East Asian culture, for those of you who are in the know. I've always liked those little the statues and stuff that have like guarding the temples and stuff out there. It's always been cool as hell, so I've always liked those creatures. And then you even have stuff like, King Caesar from Godzilla. But yeah, this creature here is called the Kaishin. And it's kind of like my version of, so you got like Monster Hunter, they have Zinogre and Magnamalo, right? That's kind of like those sort of ancient looking beasts that are kind of inspired by, that East Asian culture. And then you even have like Pokemon with Arcanine and all that. So Kaishin here is like the representation of that here in my world of Kulgurath. So with the design here, pretty similar to what you'd expect from a beast like this. A mix of both, canine and feline-like aspects to it. Of course, you got to go with the armored plating. The color palette you'll see, I use like that kind of like that red and gold mix, which to me it just always kind of screams like sort of like those like ancient like Chinese colors or something, or like even like samurai armor too from like Japanese culture or something, which actually the color palette is very similar to the manta ray that I designed in the past here for Kulgurath, which is also inspired by East Asian culture like the samurais. So yeah, big old lion dog hybrid type of thing here. With some cool horns, of course. You got the tusks, baby. We got the tusks and the fangs with the claws and the beak. That's a reference there for those of you who are in the know. But yeah, instead of just making it like some standard type of beast, I wanted to give it an element. I don't know if you can hear Peach right now. She's walking up here behind me on the hardwood floors, and her long nails are very loud, just clinking and clacking against the ground. So I don't know if y'all are picking that up. But anyways, so I decided instead of giving it like some fire element or some earth element or something, it's like, let's go with light. Let's give some holy power here. I want this to be a divine beast. So that's what it is, man. So also, as you'll notice, you'll end up noticing here towards the end. So the fur that you'll see, it ends up glowing this golden light color when it's in battle. Basically, kind of like a Super Saiyan, all right? Gotta get my DBZ reference in there too. Honestly, like a lot of times when I'm designing all of my creatures, I pull little things from all these different IPs or franchises of things that I've always been a fan of my whole life. So, this one we got Monster Hunter inspiration and Pokemon inspiration and just East Asian culture in general, and then combined with some DBZ thrown in there, got some Super Saiyan Kaishin action up in here, you feel me? But yeah, nothing like super complex or anything, just a big old doggo, right? Or lion. I don't know what the debate will be here. Maybe it'll be like a debate like with like the legendary beasts from Pokemon. We got Entei, Raikou, Suicune, where some people say they're legendary dogs and some people say they're legendary cats, but they're really kind of a mix of both, right? So that's what we got here, the Kaishin. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing this one, and also like as you've seen with some of these or all the concepts here, I'm starting to do a little bit more of like painting backgrounds, just some really simple backgrounds and everything, because I kind of want that to help convey the environment in which they live, because I haven't been doing like these full-on videos of all the locales in the world, because I'm not a big like landscape painter or anything. That's not where my expertise is, so don't have much experience with that. So I was like, let's just start playing around and just start painting up some rough backgrounds here, just to kind of really help give you a better feel of like what the creature is and its environment and everything, just to kind of help flesh the world out some more, right? So y'all can get a better sense of everything. But yeah, this is the Kaishin, Angelotherium, divine beast, shrouded in legend, and these mystical beasts can be found deep in the emerald glades of Terracon. But yeah, definitely enjoyed doing this one. It definitely took me the longest of all these creature designs here. But yeah, there y'all go. These are the 4 creatures from my Kulgurath video. It's been, sorry it's been taking me so long to get some videos up, but I gotta get my shit together and start posting some more stuff up here. Although, you know what? We're gonna ramble some. I know during my absence there was like some big apocalypse here on YouTube like a month ago where all the content creators, their channels got nuked and like their views are like half or whatever because YouTube's always changing some shit around where it's not counting like desktop views and stuff. So I'm curious to see if I will be subject to that and my video will tank or not. Well, I guess we'll find out, right? But I don't really care, whatever. I'm just kind of doing this for funsies, right? This is a hobby, and I'm drawing this stuff anyways and creating my world, so I might as well share it with y'all and make these videos because just so y'all can maybe get inspired or just escape a little bit from the shitstorm that is the world at all times. It seems like we gotta separate ourselves, and that's the whole point of this stuff, right? Fantasy and everything, it's escapism. So hopefully my videos provide a little escapism from y'all from the chaos of the world. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Do me a solid if you like the video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Also, for those of you who don't know, my official Kulgurath bestiary is available over on Amazon if you want to pick up a copy of that to support the work I do and just so you can get a better feeling of a lot of the creatures that are in the world here. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one, folks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.